Liam had 1 week to prepare for the most important meal of his life. The Grand Hall on Harmony 7 would host a Galactic Unity banquet, and every Federation Council member would attend. This was his last chance to prove human food could bring species together rather than divide them. "We need to be smart about this," Jack Foster, a human diplomat, advised Liam. "One mistake and human cuisine could be banned across the galaxy." Liam nodded. "I have an idea, but I'll need help." He reached out to alien chefs from across the station, including Chef Xor, Chef Gloob, and even Chef Morb, who had become something of a celebrity after his council demonstration. Together, they formed an unlikely team. "We'll create a menu with 5 levels of intensity," Liam explained during their first planning meeting. "Level 1 will be mild enough for anyone. Each level after that increases the presence of human compounds, but in safe amounts." For 3 days, they tested recipes and modified traditional human dishes. Sorb's crystalline body changed colors with excitement as they discovered ways to maintain flavor while reducing potency. "This rice dish with minimal spice is perfect for level 1. Chef Gloob bubbled happily. Chef Mork waved his antennae over a pot of modified chili. "And this could work for level 3. Enough capsaicin to be interesting but not overwhelming." The night of the banquet arrived. The Grand Hall glowed with soft lights as hundreds of diplomats and leaders from across the Federation entered. Each table had a number from 1 to 5, allowing guests to choose their comfort level with human cuisine. Liam stood nervously in the kitchen, watching through a window as Supreme Councilor Dirax addressed the crowd. "Tonight we experience an experiment," Dirax announced, his skin a curious yellow. "Chef Parker and his team have prepared human cuisine modified for our diverse biology. Each dish comes with clear warnings. Please respect the level ratings for your safety." The meal began. Liam and his team served 5 courses, each available in 5 intensity levels. Level 1 featured mild human foods like rice, bread, and lightly seasoned vegetables. Level 5 offered bold flavors, including a modified spicy curry for the brave. From the kitchen, Liam watched anxiously as the first dishes were tasted. To his relief, there were no emergencies, no alarms. Instead, he saw something unexpected. Aliens were talking excitedly, comparing experiences, and some even trying samples from higher levels than they had chosen. Chef Xor served a crystalline diplomat who had selected level 1. "May I offer you a small taste of level 2? Torb asked. The diplomat hesitated, then nodded. Similar scenes played out across the hall. With proper information and clear warnings, fear was giving way to curiosity. By dessert, the mood in the Grand Hall had transformed. Tables that had started with representatives from single species now had mixed groups sharing foods and stories. A few brave souls even sampled from the level 5 table, followed by cheers when they survived the experience. As the meal ended, Supreme Councilor Dirax approached Liam, his skin now a pleased blue color. "Chef Parker," he said, "I believe we have witnessed something important today." Dirax raised his voice to address the room. "Fellow representatives, tonight has demonstrated that with proper understanding, even the most different beings can share a table. Human cuisine, with appropriate warnings, need not divide us." He turned to face Liam directly. "The Federation Council recognizes Deathworlders cuisine as a protected cultural asset. Human food will require clear warnings but will no longer be classified as weaponry." The hall erupted in applause. Liam felt a weight lift from his shoulders as his team of alien chefs gathered around him in celebration. 3 months later, Liam stood proudly in front of his new restaurant in the Galactic Core. The sign above the door read, "The Deathworlders Kitchen," with hazard ratings and warning signs that had, strangely, become fashionable symbols of adventure. Inside, tables filled with beings from across the galaxy waited to experience human cuisine. Carefully labeled, properly explained, but no longer feared. The Federation Council chamber was packed with representatives from hundreds of worlds. Today they would vote on the future of human cuisine in Federation space. Liam sat nervously in the human section, alongside Ambassador Monroe and Fleet Admiral Karen Weber, the military representative from Earth. Supreme Counselor Dirax, the highest authority in the Federation, called the meeting to order. He was a tall, thin being with skin that shifted colors with his emotions. Currently, it showed a concerned orange hue. "We gather to address the classification of human food substances," Dirax announced. "General Vork will present the case for restrictions." General Vork stepped to the center of the chamber, his scaled skin gleaming under the lights. "Honored representatives," he began, "the evidence is clear. Human food contains compounds that are dangerous to most Federation species. Since humans joined our community, we have seen multiple incidents. Images appeared on large screens showing the jalapeno emergency and the chocolate reception disaster. I propose that all human foods be officially classified as biochemical weaponry," General Vork continued. "Humans must modify their diet or eat separately from other species." Murmurs filled the chamber. Many nodded in agreement. Admiral Weber rose to respond. She was a tall woman with short gray hair and a commanding presence in her crisp uniform. "General Vork speaks of safety," Admiral Weber began, "but his proposal violates the Federation's founding principle, respect for biological diversity." She walked to the center of the chamber, her voice strong and clear. "Humans cannot change our biology any more than the Accelarians can grow lungs or the Trixans can survive without methane," she argued. "Asking us to abandon our natural diet is not protection, it is discrimination." The debate grew heated. Some representatives demanded complete bans on human food. Others suggested humans could only eat in sealed rooms. The chamber was divided, with emotions running high. Liam watched anxiously until Ambassador Monroe nudged him forward. It was time for the scientific presentation. "Counselors," Liam began nervously, "I'm just a chef, not a diplomat. But I've been working with Dr. Ross and scientist Cattell on research that might help us find a middle path." He explained their findings on adaptive tolerance and the potential benefits of controlled exposure to human food compounds. Director Lumi joined him, describing her own positive experience with carefully administered caffeine. "We propose a system of clear labeling and graduated exposure," Liam concluded. "Not fear and separation, but understanding and adaptation." As the council considered this information, the chamber doors burst open. Chef Morp, a rebel chef who had become the leader of the pro-human food movement, entered dramatically. The purple-skinned alien was followed by a group of supporters from various species. "Esteemed council," Morp announced, "I will demonstrate the truth." Before anyone could stop him, Morp pulled out several human food items and began consuming them one by one. He ate a piece of bread with butter, a slice of apple, and even placed a small drop of hot sauce on his tongue. The chamber erupted in chaos. Security officers rushed forward but stopped when they realized Morp was not collapsing or showing signs of distress. "I have been gradually exposing myself to human foods for weeks," Morp explained to the shocked audience. "As their research suggests, tolerance can be developed. Fear is our greatest limitation." Supreme Counselor Dirax called for order, his skin now a thoughtful blue color. "This demonstration, while irregular, raises important questions," Dirax said. "The council is divided, and we cannot reach a consensus today." He looked directly at Liam. "Chef Parker, your cooking has caused more diplomatic incidents in 2 months than we typically see in a decade. Yet, it has also sparked important conversations about biological diversity and adaptation." Dirax's skin shifted to a resolute purple. "I offer this ultimatum. Prove that human food has value beyond its danger, or we will implement restrictions. You have one final opportunity to demonstrate that human cuisine can bring species together rather than drive them apart." Liam nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility. He had one last chance to change the Federation's mind about human food. 2 days after the tense meeting, Liam received an unexpected message. Dr. Owen Ross, a human biochemist working on Harmony 7, wanted to meet with him urgently. Curious, Liam agreed to visit the science lab. The laboratory was filled with strange equipment and glowing screens. Dr. Ross was a tall man with thick glasses and messy brown hair. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. "Chef Parker, thank you for coming," Dr. Ross said, shaking Liam's hand with excitement. "Your cooking has given us an amazing research opportunity." "My cooking?" Liam asked, confused. Dr. Ross nodded eagerly. "Yes, we've been studying the effects of human food compounds on various alien physiologies. The results are fascinating." An aquatic alien floated in a small tank nearby. She had blue-green skin and webbed hands that typed on a waterproof keyboard. "This is scientist K'tal, my research partner," Dr. Ross explained. K'tal's large eyes blinked at Liam. "Your capsaicin incident provided valuable data," she said through a translator. "We began testing controlled exposures to various human food compounds." Dr. Ross pulled up charts on a screen. "Look at these results. Alien subjects who received very small, controlled doses of human food compounds showed increased tolerance over time." "You mean they got used to it?" Liam asked. "Exactly," Dr. Ross said. "The problem isn't that human food is toxic. It's that most Federation species have evolved in stable environments without these compounds. Their bodies never developed ways to process them." Kittle floated closer to her tank wall. "We believe many Federation species have experienced evolutionary stagnation. Their worlds are too safe, too controlled." Liam thought about this. "So human food seems dangerous because we evolved on a harsh planet with lots of different chemicals." "Precisely," Dr. Ross nodded. "Earth forced humans to adapt constantly. Most Federation worlds haven't changed significantly in millions of years." The scientists showed Liam more data. They had created a progression of increasingly potent human foods for testing. Subjects started with tiny amounts of salt or olive oil, then gradually tried more complex flavors. "The most surprising discovery," Kittal explained, "is that some human food compounds might have medical applications for certain conditions in alien species. Now we need your help," Dr. Ross said. "We want to create a carefully designed menu that introduces aliens to human flavors safely, in gradually increasing strengths." Liam agreed to help. For the next week, he worked closely with the scientists, creating sample dishes with precise amounts of various compounds. They documented everything and collected data from willing test subjects. One afternoon, Director Lumu, the head of the Federation Science Division, visited the lab. She was a tall, thin alien with pale skin that seemed to glow softly. "I was initially skeptical of this research," Director Lumi said, examining their results. "It seemed dangerous and unnecessary." "We understand your concerns," Dr. Ross replied respectfully. Director Lumi held up a hand. "But I must admit the data is compelling, particularly after my own experience." She explained that she had suffered from a chronic condition for years. After taking a small dose of caffeine under medical supervision, her symptoms had improved dramatically. "This challenges our understanding of interspecies biology," Director Lumi admitted. "Perhaps there is value in controlled exposure to different biochemical environments." The scientific team worked late into the night, finalizing their proposal for a new program called Culinary Cross-Adaptation. Their research suggested that with proper protocols, aliens could safely enjoy modified versions of human cuisine and might even benefit from the exposure. As Liam helped prepare sample dishes for their presentation, he realized how far things had come. What started as a simple cooking assignment had turned into groundbreaking scientific research that could change how species interacted across the galaxy. "Not bad for a chef from Chicago," he muttered to himself with a smile. A month after the brownie incident, Liam noticed strange things happening on Harmony 7. Aliens whispered when he walked by, but not always in fear. Sometimes he caught them looking curious or even excited. Something was changing. One evening, Vela rushed into Liam's quarters with an urgent expression. "You need to see this," she said, pulling up a video on her tablet. The video showed a hidden room somewhere on the station. A group of young aliens from different species sat in a circle while a slim purple alien with antennae passed around small plates. "This is called salt," the purple alien said dramatically. "Humans put it on almost everything they eat." The gathered aliens made sounds of shock and excitement as each took tiny grains on their fingertips. "Who is that?" Liam asked, pointing to the purple alien. "That's Stack, a food critic from the Centauri system," Vila explained. "He's been running underground human food tasting parties for thrill-seeking aliens." Liam couldn't believe it. "They're treating salt like some kind of illegal drug." "Not just salt," Vela said, scrolling through more videos. "Look." The next clip showed aliens cautiously tasting tiny drops of olive oil, pinches of black pepper, and even small sips of coffee. After each taste, they compared reactions and laughed nervously. "This is crazy," Liam said. "Everything I brought is properly registered and labeled." "These aren't your supplies," Vila explained. "There's a black market for human spices now. Some crew members from supply ships are smuggling in Earth foods and selling them at high prices." Later that week, Lion was cooking in his kitchen when he heard a soft knock. He opened the door to find Stack standing there, looking nervous. "Human chef," Stack whispered, antenna twitching. "May I speak with you privately?" Liam let him in and closed the door. "You're the one running the tasting parties." Stack's purple skin darkened with embarrassment. "Yes, but I'm not trying to cause trouble. I believe the Federation is wrong to fear human food. We should learn to appreciate it by holding secret tasting parties." Liam asked, "How else?" Stack replied, "The young ones are curious. They don't share the old fears. They want to experience new things." Before Liam could respond, an alarm sounded throughout the station. A stern voice announced, "Attention all personnel. This is General Vork. A mandatory meeting will begin in the main hall in 1 hour. Attendance is required." General Vork was a respected military leader from a warrior species. His scaled skin and sharp teeth gave him a fierce appearance as he addressed the crowded hall. "Recent events have made it clear that stronger measures are needed," General Vork declared. "I propose classifying all human food items as controlled substances, available only with special permits and in medical settings." Murmurs spread through the crowd. Some nodded in agreement while others looked concerned. Alice Monroe, the human ambassador to the Federation, stood up to respond. She was a short woman with gray hair and a powerful presence. "General Vork, with respect, such restrictions violate the Federation's founding principles," Ambassador Monroe argued. "Cultural exchange must include acceptance of biological differences. Humans cannot change what we eat any more than you can change what you breathe." The debate grew heated. Liam sat quietly, realizing that his cooking had somehow become the center of a larger political struggle about acceptance and fear. After the meeting, Stack approached Liam again. "See what's happening? It's not just about food anymore. It's about whether the Federation truly accepts humans as equals or just tolerates you as dangerous outsiders." Liam nodded slowly. "I came here to cook. I didn't expect to start a revolution." "The best revolutions begin in unexpected places," Stack said with a smile. "Perhaps even in a Deathworlders kitchen." As Liam walked back to his quarters, he noticed more aliens watching him. Some fearful, but many others with newfound respect. His dangerous human food had become a symbol of something bigger. 2 weeks after the jalapeno incident, Liam was still cooking on Harmony 7, though under much stricter rules. His kitchen now had warning lights outside the door, and he had to file cooking plans a day in advance. Despite these challenges, he remained determined to share human cuisine with the galaxy. Kelly Adams, a human journalist with blonde hair and sharp eyes, arrived at his kitchen one morning. She carried a small recording device and a bright smile. "Chef Parker, I'm doing a story on the culinary exchange program," she explained. "Your cooking has become quite the topic across the Federation." Liam looked up from chopping vegetables. Good topic or bad topic? Both, Kelly laughed. Half the station thinks you're trying to poison everyone, and the other half is fascinated by Deathworld cuisine. May I watch you work today? Sure, Liam agreed. I'm preparing desserts for a diplomatic reception tonight. Something simple, chocolate brownies. Kelly's eyes widened. Chocolate? Are you aware that contains theobromine? It's just chocolate, Liam said. What's the problem? Theobromine is hallucinogenic to about 80% of Federation species, Kelly explained. It's on the restricted substances list. Liam sighed. Is there anything humans eat that isn't dangerous to aliens? Rice, maybe, Kelly suggested with a shrug. Plain rice. Despite this new information, Liam continued with his brownies. He had received proper clearance, and warning labels would be placed on each serving. The diplomatic reception was being hosted by Grand Chancellor Ploms, head of the Federation's Cultural Exchange Committee. That evening, the reception hall was filled with diplomats from dozens of worlds. Liam's dessert table stood in the corner, surrounded by large warning signs in multiple languages. Each brownie piece was the size of a small coin, tiny samples for the brave. These are the human toxic treats, asked a crystalline being that seemed to be made of living quartz. A translator badge on its chest identified it as Chef Xorb. They're called brownies, Liam explained. Made with chocolate. They're completely safe for humans. Fascinating. Chef Xorb's crystal body glimmered with changing colors. May I analyze one? I promise not to consume it. Liam handed over a sample, which Xord examined by passing light through it. The molecular structure is quite complex. Your species evolved to process such compounds for energy and pleasure, Liam added. Chocolate makes humans happy. As they talked, Liam noticed several curious diplomats hovering near the dessert table. Despite the warnings, the sweet smell of chocolate was attracting attention. A small blue alien with 4 eyes took a tiny piece and quickly ate it. Within 30 minutes, chaos erupted in the reception hall. Several diplomats who had ignored the warnings and sampled the brownies began experiencing the effects of theobromine on their alien biology. Some became extremely talkative, others began seeing colors that didn't exist, and one amphibian diplomat climbed onto a table and declared eternal friendship with all sentient beings. Liam watched in horror as medical teams rushed in. Kelly recorded everything, trying not to smile. This will make quite the story, she whispered. Human serves psychotropic substances at diplomatic function. Grand Chancellor Ploms, a tall being with pale skin and 6 fingers on each hand, approached Liam with a stern expression. Chef Parker, this is most unfortunate, the Chancellor said, though I note all proper warnings were displayed. I'm sorry, Liam began, but Chef Xorb interrupted. Isn't this precisely the point of cultural exchange? The crystalline chef asked. To understand our differences, these reactions prove how diverse life is across the galaxy. The reception ended early, but not before news of the chocolate incident spread throughout the station. By morning, Harmony 7 was divided. Some species demanded human food be banned completely, while others were increasingly curious about these strange Deathworld substances. Liam checked his messages the next day to find he had become a galactic celebrity overnight. Half the Federation feared him, and the other half wanted recipes. Word spread quickly through Harmony 7 about the human chef. After a week on the station, Liam was preparing for the Galactic Culinary Exhibition. This event would showcase foods from across the Federation, and Liam wanted to make something special. Spicy chicken wings, Liam decided, looking through his recipe collection. Simple but flavorful. Vela looked concerned. Are you sure? Capsaicin is classified as a level 3 irritant. I'll use mild jalapenos, Liam promised. Nothing too extreme. In the kitchen, Liam carefully chopped the green peppers. Even with the special ventilation running at maximum power, the spicy scent began to fill the air. He didn't notice Keelura's feathers standing on end as she monitored from the corner. Warning! Warning! The station's computer system suddenly blared. Dangerous compound detected in Sector 7. All non-human personnel evacuate immediately. Kilera rushed to a communication panel. Commander Best, we have a situation in the human kitchen. Commander Best, an insectoid security chief with compound eyes and clicking mandibles, arrived with a team wearing protective gear. They sealed off the kitchen area. What is happening here? Commander Best demanded, voice distorted through his breathing apparatus. I'm just making chicken wings, Liam explained, holding up a jalapeno. With these, the security team backed away quickly. You brought weaponized plant matter onto this station. Commander Best's antennae quivered in alarm. It's just a mild pepper, Liam protested. Humans eat these all the time. By then, 3 alien chefs who had been working in nearby kitchens were being rushed to the medical bay. They had inhaled the jalapeno vapors and suffered various reactions, from dizziness to temporary blindness. The situation escalated quickly. Liam found himself in a small meeting room, facing accusations of reckless endangerment through toxic substances. Commander Best wanted all human food items permanently banned from the station. Ryan Collins, a human diplomat stationed on Harmony 7, came to Liam's defense. He had a calm voice and years of experience handling delicate situations. Commander, with all respect, this is a cultural misunderstanding, Ryan explained. Humans have evolved different taste receptors than most Federation species. What seems dangerous to you is normal to us. Dr. Mira Bennett, a human physician specializing in xenobiology, joined the discussion. She had short gray hair and a no-nonsense attitude. I've treated the affected individuals, she reported. All have fully recovered. Their symptoms were temporary and not life-threatening. Commander Best's mandibles clicked rapidly. The fact remains that this human brought substances that could incapacitate multiple Federation species. His entire spice collection should be classified as weapons-grade material. That's going too far, Ryan argued. The culinary exchange program exists to build understanding between different biological systems. Mistakes will happen. After hours of debate, a compromise was reached. Liam could continue cooking, but with stricter protocols. His kitchen would be reclassified as a controlled substance area. All his spices would be stored in a special containment unit, and warning signs would be posted throughout the sector. As Liam returned to his quarters that evening, he received a message from an unexpected source. The Federation Council was drafting new human culinary containment regulations because of the incident. Great, Liam muttered. I've been here 1 week, and I'm already causing intergalactic regulations to be written. A soft knock came at his door. It was Chef Gloob, the gelatinous alien he'd met earlier. Human chef. Gloob bubbled, staying in the doorway. Today's incident has made you famous, or perhaps infamous. I didn't mean to cause trouble, Liam sighed. I know, Gloob's eye stalks bobbed in what might have been understanding. But you should know that not everyone is afraid. Some of us are curious about these spices that can cause such effects. Perhaps there is much we can learn from each other. Liam smiled for the first time since the alarms had sounded. Maybe there was hope for this exchange program after all. Liam stepped off the U.S. Starlight onto Harmony 7 space station with wide eyes. The massive hub floated in space, home to thousands of beings from across the galaxy. Aliens of all shapes and sizes moved through the docking area. Some had too many limbs, others had none at all. Some floated, others crawled. Vela Wright, a human xenobiologist with curly red hair, waited for him at the arrival gate. She waved and approached with a friendly smile. Chef Parker, welcome to Harmony 7. I'm your advisor during your stay, she said, extending her hand. Liam shook it firmly. Nice to meet you. This place is amazing. Wait until you see your kitchen, Vela said with a hint of amusement in her voice. They walked through winding corridors, passing shops and meeting areas filled with alien species. Many visitors stopped to stare at Liam. Some even moved away as he passed. Why are they looking at me like that? Liam asked quietly. "You're a Deathworlder," Vila explained. "Many of them have never seen a human up close. To them, you're basically a walking disaster waiting to happen." They reached a section marked Human Zone in several languages. 2 security officers stood guard. One was tall and bird-like with feathers instead of hair. Her name tag read Kilera. "This is the human chef," Vela said to the guards. "He has clearance to access the special kitchen." Kilera nodded stiffly. "I am assigned to monitor his cooking activities. The safety protocols have been established." The bird-like alien followed them inside, keeping a careful distance from Liam. They entered a large kitchen area that looked almost normal, except for the heavy-duty ventilation system and sealed doors. "This seems excessive," Liam said, looking around. "Not to them," Vela replied. "Most Federation species evolved in stable environments, with limited chemical diversity. Their bodies can't handle what Earth throws at us every day." A lab announcement echoed through the station speakers. "Attention all residents. The human culinary representative has arrived. The designated cooking area in Sector 7 will be active starting today. Non-human personnel without proper training should avoid this area during cooking hours." Liam frowned. "They're announcing my cooking schedule." "Safety measure," Vila explained. "Some species can be affected by just smelling human food." A gelatinous blob with eye stalks entered the room, wearing what appeared to be a chef's hat perched atop its transparent body. It stopped at a safe distance. "Greetings, Earth being. I am Chef Gloob from Traxxas Prime," it bubbled. "I was curious to meet you, despite the warnings." "Warnings?" Liam asked. "That everything in your kitchen is dangerous," Gloob replied, eye stalks waving. "Is it true you willingly consume capsaicin for pleasure?" Liam smiled. "Some humans even compete to eat the spiciest foods possible." Gloob's body rippled in what might have been shock or disgust. "Fascinating and terrifying. Your species is indeed worthy of study." Liam began unpacking his supplies from their sealed containers. The moment he opened a jar of garlic powder, alarms blared throughout the kitchen. "Air contamination detected," a computerized voice announced. "Level 2 irritant present." Kilera rushed forward wearing a breathing mask. "What have you opened, human?" "Just garlic," Liam said, holding up the small jar. "It's for flavoring." The security officer backed away. "Please reseal it immediately. That substance can cause respiratory distress in 17 different Federation species." Liam carefully closed the jar, and the alarms quieted. He looked at Vela with disbelief. "How am I supposed to cook anything if basic seasonings set off alarms?" "That's the challenge," Vela said with a sympathetic smile. "And why you're here, to help build understanding." Later that evening, Liam prepared a simple pasta dish with olive oil and herbs. Before he even turned on the stove, an announcement echoed through the station. "Attention! Human cooking activity commencing in Sector 7. All sensitive species, please note this activity in your daily planning." As the pasta began to cook, 4 curious alien diplomats watched from behind a safety barrier. They whispered among themselves, pointing at the steam rising from the pot. "Are they afraid of boiling water too?" Liam asked Vila. "Not the water," she replied. "They're fascinated by your bravery in handling what they consider dangerous materials without protection." Liam looked down at his ordinary pot of pasta and laughed. This was going to be an interesting assignment indeed. Liam Parker stood straight as the selection committee read his name. He had been chosen as Earth's representative for the Galactic Culinary Exchange Program. His hand shook slightly, but his voice remained steady as he accepted the honor. "Thank you for this opportunity. I will make Earth proud," he said. The year was 2187, and humanity had joined the Galactic Federation only 5 years ago. Humans were classified as Deathworlders, beings from harsh, high-gravity planets with dangerous conditions. This classification made other species both fear and admire humans. Liam was a chef from a small restaurant in Chicago. He loved cooking with fresh herbs and spices, creating dishes that combined flavors from around the world. He never imagined his cooking skills would take him to the stars. Captain Ella Johnson of the U.S. Starlight greeted Liam at the spaceport the next day. She was tall with short brown hair and a friendly smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Welcome aboard, Chef Parker. I've been briefed about your mission," she said, shaking his hand firmly. "You should know that the aliens are concerned about your cooking supplies." Liam raised an eyebrow. "Concerned? It's just food." Captain Johnson laughed. "To us, yes. To them, much of what we eat is toxic. They've assigned a hazardous materials team to handle your ingredients." Liam thought she was joking until he saw 6 crew members in special suits approaching his crates of cooking supplies. They moved carefully, as if handling explosives instead of flour, salt, and spices. "Is this really necessary?" Liam asked. "I'm afraid so," said a smooth voice behind him. Liam turned to see Ambassador Zixtar, the Xilarian diplomat overseeing the exchange program. The alien was tall and thin with blue-tinted skin and large almond-shaped eyes. 4 long fingers on each hand ended in small suction cups. "Your Earth foods contain compounds that can harm many Federation species," the ambassador explained. "What you call table salt can burn gelatinous beings from Traxxas Prime. Black pepper can cause respiratory failure in my people. And don't get me started on your capsaicin." "Capsaicin? You mean like in chili peppers?" Liam asked. Ambassador Zixtar's skin paled slightly. "Please do not speak of such things so casually. What humans use for pleasure would be classified as a military-grade chemical irritant on most worlds." Liam tried not to smile. The idea that his spice rack could cause an interstellar incident was both amusing and concerning. "I didn't realize my cooking kit would need such handling," Liam said. "This is why the exchange program exists," Ambassador Zixtar replied. "To build understanding between very different beings. You call Earth home, but to most of us, your planet would be considered a death trap." The hazmat team finished securing Liam's cooking supplies in special containers marked with bright red symbols. One of the crew members approached with a datapad. "Chef Parker, please review and confirm the contents. All items will be stored in the ship's secure containment area during transit." Liam scrolled through the list. Flour, sugar, salt, olive oil, vinegar, garlic, onions, dried herbs, black pepper, cinnamon, vanilla extract, coffee beans. Basic cooking ingredients, now labeled as dangerous substances. "Everything seems to be in order," Liam said, signing the digital form. Captain Johnson guided Liam to his quarters on the ship. "We'll reach Harmony 7 space station in 3 days. Get some rest. This program will be more challenging than you might expect." As Liam unpacked his personal items, he looked out the viewport at Earth growing smaller in the distance. He wondered what the aliens would think when he actually started cooking. If they were this worried about raw ingredients, how would they react to the aromas and flavors of a real human meal? He smiled to himself. This adventure was going to be more interesting than he had expected.